Da, 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 da. Da, da, da.
Dr. Derek Mance reporting, Research Director. We now believe IS-171, or the carbuncle, as Peters was calling it, is the larval form of IS-173, and almost certainly 178. Dr. Pendleton speculates there may also be a fourth state we have not yet encountered. And I believe she may be correct. If this is correct, it is an extraordinary shift in our understanding.
Oh man,
Hey, do I know? Look, I don't know what's going on. They don't tell me squat on a good day, and this isn't a good day. But if the big voice says, get out, I'd do what she says. Elevators are dead, so head for the main tunnel in manufacturing on level 2. There's maps over there.
Why are you talking like
But
that,
me,
dude?
I'm staying right here.
Plastic scrap. Okay. Plastic scrap is gonna be. Yeah. There's stuff in the garbages. Interesting. Smart. Oh yeah. Beautiful. That's pretty easy to make. Just duct tape and cloth. All right. All right. Get it out. Ooh. Charging station. Yeah. Plastic. Coil. Mm. Oh, no, no. Oh, interesting. I didn't even see it. Where is it? Stress. No. No, 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 no. Yeah. No, whatever. So much glue. Hey, hey. Immortal Changer. Kind of a sweet name. It's a abiotic factor. It's like a survival crafting game that seems like it's based off like Half-Life, Half-Life, what is it? Black Mesa. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Step back in graphics maybe a little bit, but you're just playing this nerd. Basically, the idea is that the same thing that happened in Black Mesa happened in this, except you're one of the doctors that was left behind while Gordon Freeman runs around saving the world. That's what it seems like. I mean, it's pretty interesting so far. I am, yeah. Yeah, I'm a lead pastor at a church up in North Dakota. And I play video games a lot. I just thought, you know what, I should do something with this. I should make it useful instead of just... Not that I still play to have fun, but I also really like talking to people, so it's just kind of a win-win for me. What do you do? Is that a fair question to ask? Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I'm trying to get, I don't know, it'd be sweet to have some real dialogue with people about stuff. Huh. Have you been around the church at all in your life? Hmm. And there's some definitely some good morals in the Bible. Hmm. Like as a kid? Yeah, that sucks. You gotta, I don't know why people do that. It really does have the opposite effect. I think, I don't know. I don't know what people are thinking with it. Besides,
Yeah.
oh,
A sip of water would suffice.
I don't have any water. Yeah, like I got 3 kids, and my plan is, you know, teach them as best I can, and I pray for them. Ultimately, though, they got to make that choice themselves. Yeah. Well, I think so. Were you raised in a pretty like staunch fundamentalist type home, where it was just like I would consider myself a fundamentalist, but maybe not a staunch. I don't know. There's that certain type that it's just like, you know, I maybe I'm not maybe I'm not saying it very well, but yeah, I mean that's the I did youth pastoring for many years, and um, that was one thing I always told my students: you can't be a Christian because your parents are. Like, if you can't answer the reason why you're a Christian, maybe you should. You have to answer it, otherwise, I don't know if you really are. It's not just like this proxy thing. It's a choice, right? Where's my glue? Yeah. Well, no kidding. I think it's such an interesting thing that something just I think about sometimes. It's like, man, why did you put the church, like the church being led in the hands of people you probably knew were gonna screw it up? And dude, there's a lot of bad stories out there. I would say a lot of horrific stories, honestly. It's not good. Where do we get water? Yeah, it's true. Materialism in modern society is rampant. It is also rampant in the church. It's a huge problem. Yeah, it's true. That's what I mean. Honestly, that's what good, like, correct Christianity, I guess you could say, is all about. Is like, I mean, Jesus talked about so many things about don't store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, right? It's not about the physical; it's about the eternal. And but there's a lot of Christian theology today that teaches about building wealth, about basically living comfortably, and it is just um, not at all what Jesus taught. Whoa, what is happening here? This is like my first time playing this. Okay. Oop. I got. Okay. That was interesting. Oh. 8:20 p.m. That's terrible. Yeah, I think so. I think in the first like 3 centuries, when it was like a grassroots house church movement, that was people were like literally dying all over the place, being killed for their faith, and it's just like it spread like crazy. I think that they really understood like the message, what it was really about. But yeah, it's definitely gotten warped, and yeah, it's not reflective of what I think Jesus intended. I mean, that's I don't know. I don't know if you could. I guess I don't know if I could say that on a. I don't know. Maybe it is true on a large scale, but I don't think I can make that judgment. But I do know you do see some good things, but there are good churches, good leaders, and all that stuff out there. But it just is all kind of overshadowed by the bad ones. Oh no. Security bot. I'm just gonna get out of here. Yeah, I tend to lean that way too. With Constantine and stuff, like it seemed like he just was making a really very very clever political maneuver. Um, that's kind of where I lean as well. I think for me, some of the fall of Christianity started I really think this. Christians were meant to be at the end of the sword, not at the handle. Like at the tip of the sword, not at the handle of the sword. And once we became an empire, right? I mean, it goes back to like literally the book of Judges. There's the book of Judges in First Samuel. Judges says in those days there was no king in Israel, and everyone did what was right in their own eyes. And then First Samuel says that when the people asked for a king, they were rejecting God. And so, but then we still want people to tell us what to do, and not God Himself. I don't know. We're kind of complicated. What is happening here? Hey, don't destroy my workbench. Yeah, I guess I can't just chill out in the night. Oh. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Christians being killed all throughout the world still today, but I think that's where it thrives. I think that's where I don't know. That's where it gets tested, right? Is this real? Do I really believe it? Yeah, yeah, it does. Oh, no. I can't sleep. Yeah, I think so. Because, yeah, you play a game in your dreams that determines your sleep rest bonus, I guess. Which is kind of cool. Okay. Oh, I should make a bed. Big packaged couches. Yeah, man. A whole game of Tetris. That's pretty impressive. When I fall asleep, man, I do have some crazy dreams, but they don't usually make any sense. Yeah. Tetris is your go-to when you have nothing, huh? Is that the... Oh, you just fall asleep and dream about Tetris? Hey, hey, hey! Oop.
Anyone else getting a bit hungry?
Oh, man. What is this? Oh. Yeah, I should switch that. Well, my intent is to chat. But my primary focus is chatting. But yes, I should switch this. Give me a second here. Abiotic? Yeah. All right. Should be updated now. Man, I got this cold. Oh, I hate it. I hate colds. I've been sick so much this winter. It's insane. Woo! Ugh. Oh. Oh man. Oh. Ooh. Sell. Man. Power cell. Break any of this? Nope. So what do you do? Just chilling on Twitch? Hey, other viewer, welcome. Wow, that is a real dad joke right there. Uh-oh. That is not a guy I want to mess with. Wow, jeez. Whatever.
I thought they were coming to help, but they weren't gatekeepers. They started shooting. I wasn't trained for this. I'm just a receptionist.
Oh, backpack. I can appreciate a good dad joke. I feel like there was... It's good. I'm trying to think. I thought there was a good Chuck Norris joke I heard the other day. But maybe not. You got any other of your grade A ones? So when does a joke become a dad joke? When it becomes apparent. There's a lot more enemies out today. Yeah. That one's pretty good. That one's classic. You know, I'm from oh. Hey there, buddy. Door right here. Wow. Huh. Oh, there he is. Jeez. You know, a good dad joke should make you sigh. That's the whole purpose, isn't it? Try to break this. 98% chance of breaking? No shot. You probably did, dude. My dad is constantly making up terrible jokes. I don't know how he does it. He just boom, just makes them up.
Dr. Derek Mance reporting. Research Director, Gate Cascade Research Facility. Originating in Antiverse 2, IS-171 is a stationary sessile entity that traps its food with a retractable tentacle. The experience
So here's a joke for you. So I'm from North Dakota, so there's a lot of Norwegian people up here. So we have a joke line called Oli and Sven. Or
smell on anything it touches. Suggestions for possible
this one is Oli and Lena.
food, perfume,
And so
sense,
Oli and Lena are this.
factory-based crowd control.
Let me get out of here. what's up? Oli and Lena are this couple, and they're an old couple living on a farmhouse. And every night, Oli would fart so intensely that the sheets would flutter. And Lena would always tell him, you know, Oli, one of these days you're going to fart your guts out. And he'd say, ah.
An insufficiency of food.
And one morning, she was downstairs butchering a chicken. So she's downstairs getting that chicken ready, and she has an idea. So while Oli is sleeping, Lena goes up and puts the chicken guts by his butt. And she goes back downstairs, kind of laughing to herself. And about an hour later, she hears the fart that happens every night, rips up the sheets, and a little while later, Oli comes down the stairs, white as a ghost, and he says, well, Lena, you were right. One day, I'd fart my guts out, but with the help of God and these 2 fingers, I got them all back in. There you go. I just pretty much verbally assaulted you with that joke. My dad told us that joke when we were sitting eating dinner when I was young, so it's just always stuck with me. Yeah, you're not wrong. You got to admit, though, it's pretty jarring. I'm traumatized. Oh man, you probably didn't expect hopping on this stream getting traumatized, huh?
The soldiers came through. They locked down manufacturing. Wanted information about the silos on level 3. They weren't gatekeepers.
Oh my gosh.
They were something else. I couldn't tell them.
You didn't make that one up, did you? That's a good one. That's clever.
We can use the forklift to open the door. Get out of here. Through the surface tunnel.
That's a good one. That's clever. Oh, I can use the toilet. All right. Oh yeah, gotta poop. Beautiful. What is this? That does not look good. I mean, you know, in the Bible, the book of Ecclesiastes says there's nothing new under the sun, so. Jeez. That one's pretty good, too. Uh-oh. Oops. Broke my leg. Broken leg. Yep. Great. They can walk pretty good on a broken leg. Can even run. What? Do you remember? Man, that really impacted you. No. I don't have a... No. Ooh, what's this? I mean, honestly, you should be proud. Dad jokes are just terrible. I don't even know how to fix a broken leg in this game. Now, what am I doing? Ooh. He splinted his arm. Yes. Absolutely. You got to embrace the opposite nature of dad jokes. My lead board member at my church. He literally came to our last leadership team meeting with a calendar of dad jokes. So you gotta respect that. Man, just don't care. Based, absolutely. All right, I gotta look up a dad joke now. This is from fatherly.com. That's got to be a reputable website. Oh, jeez. Why can't a leopard hide? Because he's always spotted. Man. Ugh. This just makes me cringe. See, some of them you have to see them written out, or they don't. It's hard to get. There you go. Hey, welcome, other viewer. We're just telling dad jokes while I waste time in whatever this game is called. Abiotic Factor. Insane. Now that's the response we're looking for. I don't even know what I'm making. A sign? A vacuum. Interesting. This is so much weird stuff I can craft.
Ah,
Battery. Energy brick. You know what? I should. Dang. That is horrible. Oh. You know the story about the chicken that crossed the road? Me neither. I couldn't follow it. Yeah. There it is again. That perfect response. What do I need for this battery? Circuit board, text grab, case fan. Wow. No booze in it. That is just beautifully crafted. See, most of them you do have to have written out, don't you? storage. Oh, what do you get from a pampered cow? Spoiled milk. Bruh, that's a good, yep. That's pretty good. Man, I'm reading through these and it's like, I can't even like say this. Why are spiders so smart? They can find everything on the web. Man, this is awful. It's literally awful. Dude, I can suck up small critters with that? Yikes. Oh, that matters. Bro. Oh man, that one's pretty. You know, that's the some of these are just so multi-layered that you just got to appreciate it. Here's one. No plastic, really? Yeah, that's right. Oh, small trash bin. Great. Put my 20 pieces of wood in there. It's so weird just to be totally unashamed because you're not funny. Oh, forgot I got a broken leg. Oh my, that's devious. That one right there. That is wretched. I'm
Food.
starving.
I need to find food.
I don't even know where to get food at. Yeah, that one that's next level bad. All right, all right. Oh man, that one is terrible. What would bears be without the letter B? Ears? Like what? I mean, I get it, but jeez, it's just awful. Man, what can I eat?
Could use a short nap.
I'm gonna die. It's all over for me. Oh my gosh. Cook, you radiated meat. Cook. Ah. Okay, well. Oh, I just respawn? That's actually great for me. Oh my gosh. That's pretty good. A little Liam Neeson action going on there. I will find them. It's beautiful. I wonder if all my stuff is here. Oh, it is. Man. Alright, I'm gonna try to cook this meat again. Oh, jeez. Hey, other viewer, welcome. Just telling some really bad jokes in the chat. You're welcome to spice it up. Some even worse jokes. I like eat my disgusting alien meat. You're gonna how long does this take to cook? Ooh, a chef hat? Chef apron? Pick this up later. Alright. Hey! I'll eat that later. I look like a total dork running with this. Oh, you know what? Fridge right here. Oh, with an alien. Ah! Thought I'd kill it. It's beautiful. I wonder if there's any penalties to death in this game. It didn't seem to indicate any. No. Okay. I lost that. That's a pretty big penalty. Oh. Dang it. I made an energy brick and I spent it on a freaking vacuum. Gotta pay more attention. Alright, how about this? Can a kangaroo jump higher than the Empire State Building? Of course it can. Buildings can't jump. That was a terrible delivery. Give this vacuum cleaner a try. Cleaning up the streets. No, not today. Okay. Kind of the same thing, huh? Oh no! What the? Well, gotta not do that again. That vacuum. I suppose this isn't gonna do any good to something stuck on the ground.
This sector will be powered down momentarily.
Uh-oh.
If you have not already evacuated the facility, your top priority. Have a wonderful and productive evening.
Hey, good for you, man. What happened? And while you're typing that out, hey, that's a good idea. Dude, music is like therapy. I was doing my master's thesis. I played piano like a lot, and I don't really play piano, so, but I just did it for just to help me. It really helped me to. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, I have ice cream? Why am I carrying ice cream around? It's insane. Beautiful.
Any colder and I'll be homeostatic.
Hmm. Yep. Get out of here.
Any colder and I'll be homeostatic.
Dude, this guy sleeps for like 3 hours. What's going on? No, 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 no. Yeah, so things have just been rough. I'm glad. I'm serious though. You tap into that. Just keep going with that music. It's just a really good thing, especially if you don't really have people to talk to. It's like almost like a way of talking to people. At least you're expressing somehow, you know. What are you thinking about learning to play? Yeah, I mean, toxic relationships never really help anything, huh? Violin and synth? Whoa. I mean, that's pretty legit.
Attention. This sector is under precautionary security.
Yeah.
Please remain
That's not good.
safe and wait for security assistance.
Yeah, my main instruments are guitar and drums. I can play piano and make it sound nice, but I have no idea what I'm playing. I don't really know music theory. I just kind of make stuff up. cloth straps. Yeah, this meat takes forever. There we go. Very mild radiation. Take it. I can handle some mild radiation. No big deal. Okay. We're gonna have to go face the beast up here. I should craft a shiv. No, I shouldn't. Ooh. A computer to break. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna silently break down this. Oh, it actually worked. Oh, sick. I don't have to make a storage thing. Whew. Yeah, man, it's a good thing you got out of that relationship. Those are not good. Wait, the monitor was made out of pens? Oh. Scrap. Alright, alright. Bring this filing cabinet back to my base. I have another joke for you, by the way. Why do seagulls fly over the sea? If they flew over the bay, they'd be called bagels. Eh? 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 Oh, this is what I'm talking about. Some real storage. Ah, should I keep bandage on me? Yeah, I wish this thing had like a proximity something. And glue. Where'd I put my glue? Oh, in the garbage out here. stored a whole couch inside this filing cabinet.
Ah, getting thirsty.
Amazing. Oh, the stuff I needed.
I can feel my blood sugar falling.
Fairly hungry. All right, let's give this a shot. Some water. Hey, fellas. Three of them now? Ow. Oh, empty sink. No. Ow! No. I gotta drink out of the toilet. Oh, I should go to the bathroom. No, no need to. Makes sense. I haven't eaten or drank anything. I mean, yeah, there's I can drink this tainted water, an unlimited supply of it. Gotta do what you gotta do. Oh, I'm washing myself. Oh, wrong button.
Oh dear, I don't feel right at all.
Yeah, I'm sick. Alright, nice. I gotta make a bucket to collect it or something. I haven't looked up anything on this game, so this is just... Oh, nice. Great. I just threw up the food I just ate. Great. Yeah, I don't really understand. I don't know. I don't really understand some of those like super toxic relationships. Like, how do people get to that point where they can be so cruel and manipulative to someone else? Nothing here. I think I'm gonna just let myself die again. That's nice. Shortcut unlocked. What? this looks like a whirlwind. Vacuum cleaner? No? Alright. Oh, look at that. Yeah! Eat it! Jeez. That's kind of sweet. Do that again.
This is Dr. Derek Mance. Today, I discovered that Dr. Stern's latest software experiment was simulating the entire facility. A microcosm of Cascade, and every staff member within it. Even myself, I gather. When I asked about it, he claimed to be trying to find a way to accelerate our research. I inquired about the ethical considerations, and he just looked at me blankly. The man is a genius, but more dangerous to this facility than most of it.
Oh!
An exceptional scientist, all the same.
Man. Dang it. Oof. Oh man. It's already 11:16. I'm preaching in the morning, so I should probably get out of here. Oh.
I have seen death. I locked it in there, along with everyone else. We can't go this way. You don't want to. There must be a way out. Manufacturing? I can't remember.
What's here? This looks like a place for the vermin. Come here. Uh oh. Run. Oh. Okay. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. I don't know who's still in chat with me. It doesn't tell me. Thanks so much. And Immortal, if it's you, super nice. It was fun. Appreciate it. If it's you, Apple Bottom, man, keep me informed. Glad things are turning around. That was fun. Good night. Thanks again. Oh, I am, yeah. Yeah, I'm preaching in the morning, so I gotta get up and do 2 services. And it's a whole thing, so I should be responsible. It's night. What time zone are you in? What time is it for you? Mountain time +1. Oh man, we're 6. You're like across the world. Where are you from? Italy, dude. My wife and I want to travel there pretty bad. At least a while ago, it's super cheap to get some nice places to stay. So you just eat like pasta every day. Is that? Or is that just not right? I'm from North United States, North Dakota. Not a very well-known state. It's very cold and hot. We have like one of the highest climate ranges in the world. It goes from like -20 in the winter to like 100 and some in the summer. Fahrenheit, yeah. Oh yeah, that's another difference. Yeah. All right, all right, all right. Yeah. So I guess it's yeah -29 degrees Celsius. It's really cold, and there's like we live in a plain, so it's just flat. So there's like when it's really really cold, there's no protection from the wind, and it is brutal. It like hurts your skin to go outside. I don't know why. My wife does not want to live here. I don't mind it. You kind of, it's whatever. You get used to it. You appreciate the good weather. You kind of take it for what it is. We have like probably a total of 2 really nice months in the year. I don't know. See it hot or cold? Cold, you can do something about. You can dress warmer. When you're hot, what do you do? Actually, we saw hardly any snow this winter. This was like literally one of the most mild winters of my life. I've lived in North Dakota my whole life, and this was like, wow, it's so easy. Don't even have to worry about slipping around. Yeah, so our range is it goes from -29 degrees Celsius to sometimes over 37 degrees Celsius in the summer. We're just like, woo, all over the place. It can be unpleasant, but it makes you tough. One 104, that's just not that's not fun. It's not fun to be outside. I don't know, maybe it is if you're used to it, but man, I don't find it very fun. Drinking iced tea. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't think it would be fun. It sounds, I don't know. It feels like there's, oh, no AC. Oh man, brutal. Just laying in bed naked with a fan on you. That's about all you can do. Oh man, you live in so you have multiple houses. One in Italy. Where's the other one at? Ah, yeah, that's a cool thing. Moldova. Moldova. That sounds really familiar. Look it up on Google Maps. Okay, okay, yep. That's the cool thing about Europe. You guys have so many countries all so close to each other. U.S. is just massive, and I mean, there's differences between regions, but it's not like you're going to a new country. Oh man, that doesn't sound fun. I've done a little bit of world traveling, but it was for my master's degree, and so I've been to Jordan, India, South Africa, and London, and I've been to South America, but that hardly counts for me. I don't know. I'd like to do more. Actually, my wife would like to do a lot more, but it just is. Now that we have 3 kids, it's like, oof. I don't know if we can afford it for quite a while. I mean, Italy's pretty exotic, though. You live there. I mean, for Americans, I think it's pretty exotic. Okay, so you're joking me. Turkey, France. I would love to go to Turkey someday for archaeology stuff. There's a lot of biblical archaeology that's super interesting in Turkey. Uh, well, tourists usually aren't the most pleasant people to deal with, so I can imagine a lot of entitled people walking around. Yeah, I don't hear much about Italy's government. I mean, I mostly just everybody blowing up over here about the upcoming election and stuff. Americans are so like it's like the only thing they ever study is America. And I get it. It's where we live. It's a lot happening in the world. Mm. Yeah. Well, our government's been pretty I mean, it's our economy's really bad right now. Our groceries have like skyrocketed. Living expenses are way up. Housing is crazy right now. Oh, really? Like if you don't have a job, you're just like screwed? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, insurance. Honestly, we have this weird thing. Um, we have. I've been kind of trapped in the lower class because I've told the church like I don't want a raise. If I get a raise, then I have to pay $1,000 for insurance, and it's just like unless you can give me a huge raise, which I know we can't afford, it doesn't make sense to give me a raise. So just don't do it. And so I've been like stuck in this lower class, which is fine. We do fine, but like get the medical insurance from the government because it's free, and yeah, it just is. But it's weird that they're kind of making it so if you're really poor, the government will really help you out. But if you're just even if you're just slightly above that, well, then you're paying $1,000 out of your pocket for insurance. It's crazy. I don't like insurance. The industry's a little sketch. It's a lot of sketch. Yeah, there's kind of tensions all over the world right now. It is insane. That's the one thing. Like in general, I like capitalism, but I do not like corporatism. I don't like corporations running everything. I think it's not right, and they're not looking out for the people's interests, right? They don't care. They just want to make money, and that's what's wrong with the gaming industry right now. Is it's just corporate greed all the way, and so I don't like when government's getting in bed with corporations. It's like, well, what's their end goal going to be? Well, of course, it's going to be money, and so piracy is the solution. Yeah, if you can get away with it these days. I used to do a lot of torrenting back in my day when I was younger, and it was easier. But I haven't done it in a long time. What are you talking about? Like, let's go get a ship and hit that Mediterranean Sea. That's crazy. I never would have guessed. Those Italians, man, just love piracy. Well, I mean, it's also tough right now with VPNs are so easily accessible. Um, there's not much, even in governments where they are like censoring everything. VPNs is just like the ultimate get around. I mean, it's great. I think I'm all for people being able to have free speech and all that stuff, and know what's happening in the world from a legitimate lens, not just from what the government wants you to hear. And so I'm all for that. But yeah, it's interesting. That makes sense. I mean, it sounds like I used to use porn blockers that would block like the most random websites. It's like, what do you think this is? What do you hmm, that's interesting. Uh, isn't that? I don't know. That's classic government, right? Hey, we're gonna do this thing, and we're gonna keep you all informed. Just kidding. We are not. I mean, that happens all the time over here too. I just think it's, I don't know. It's that idea of power, right? When a lot of these really wealthy people, I just think it's so weird that how do you get into government and then make millions and millions of dollars? And for us over in America, there's a lobbying system and it's basically bribery. Canada's got stuff like that too. I've heard. Well, yeah, if because they're messing with the services they provide their customers, so that's like they're making them lose money potentially because people are maybe blaming it on their IP instead of on the government's piracy shield. Yeah, that's always the danger, isn't it? It's like, hey, we're gonna do this thing, and maybe it's good. You know, I could have sworn, years ago there was a thing in Chicago. I swear I read an article on this, but this is the weird thing. I can't find anything about it anywhere. And it was called Prism. It was like a security system they were implementing all throughout Chicago. I don't, and this is the thing. I don't even know. Was I having a fever dream? I have no idea. I thought I was just reading an article, and then a few years later, I was talking to somebody about it, and I couldn't find anything on it. And it's this Prism thing that it was just like monitoring everybody, watching everybody in Chicago. Crime rate's really high in Chicago, so I mean, it's something that makes sense. But what are you doing with all that information, right? And if you can just use it for pirates for like stopping illegal activity, that's okay. But censorship, that's a slippery slope for men and women with power, right? It's true. Yep. Too much of anything isn't good. There's a verse in Ecclesiastes I always think is interesting. Um, let me see if I can. Where is it? Yeah. It says, "Do not be over righteous, neither be overly wise. Why destroy yourself? Do not be overly wicked, and do not be a fool. Why die before your time? It's good to grasp one and not let go of the other. Whoever fears God will avoid all extremes." And so I always like that verse. It's like, okay, don't get too crazy, right? Don't go too far. Um, yeah, it's a verse from the Bible. Yeah, it's Ecclesiastes 7, 16 through 18. I always like that one because I've always felt like someone that always wanted to take kind of a moderate approach, to things and be like, well, I don't want to go too crazy here. I don't want to just like develop an ideology that's so stiff, right, that it can't be challenged, that it can't like listen to reason, especially within the scripture itself, right? Someone to be like, hey, I think you're wrong in your interpretation. For me to be like, yeah, fair enough. Like that's. But if I'm so rigid, I remember I was talking to a guy a few weeks ago at a college, and he he was like, when it comes to young Earth, I don't really care. It doesn't really matter to me if the Earth is young or if it's old or if it's it just doesn't matter to me. That's not what the story's about. Um, but this young guy was just like adamant, young Earth, young Earth, young Earth. I was like, dude, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. This is the kind of people that are gonna like deconstruct later, right? And maybe shipwreck themselves because they haven't asked. It's just like a lack of intellectual honesty, right? And so, like, what is this really about? Like, not being willing to challenge assumptions and ask good questions. Questions can be scary. They're good though. My camera keeps going out of focus. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, and many of us are like, I get it. I get it. You've had like a long held belief, or you've had something that you just, yeah, whatever. You get comfortable in your presuppositions, right? And so when those get challenged, it's almost like a personal affront. And so I understand when people are like that. And I've gone through a big journey of trying to figure out, like, what do I believe? Why do I believe it? Why is it important? Like all that stuff. And I'm really grateful for it. But it was kind of hard, right? It was a little scary. Like, where am I going to land here? And I still am challenging a lot of those things, asking a lot of questions, and um, wondering where that'll all end up, right? It's true, and I'm noticed the older I get, the easier it is to get into like mental ruts, right? Or be like kind of scared to challenge. And I'm only 34, but I'm already feeling that. Like that's like, oh man, starting to understand my grandparents. They got the way they are. Oh, dude, hopefully it's a while before I'm a grandpa. My youngest son is 4 years old, so I hope it's a minute before that happens. Yeah, yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Yeah, yeah. Well, people marry later and later in the day and age we live in, so it probably will be quite a while. And kids is a horrific, beautiful responsibility, but it's scary and it's great and it's awful and it's wonderful. Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. The older I get, actually, for me, I had a friend of mine who asked me, he's like in his upper 30s, and he'd asked me, so when you turned 30, did you get depressed? It's like, no, I don't really care. My dad said he never cared about it until he turned 50. 50 was when he was like, I'm getting too old. And but so far I don't care about age. It just kind of, but time is going fast, right? Like every Christmas seems to come like boom, boom, boom. And it's like, well, I guess Christmas is here again. Oh, I guess it's my birthday again. Oh, I guess I don't know. It's weird. Every day, what do they say? The days are long and the years are short. It's kind of what it feels like. Yeah, it's a good way to look at it. That'll keep you positive, make you appreciate the things. And yeah, I mean, that's true. When you're closer to the end, whenever that's going to be. Can I ask how old are you? You don't have to say, but 15. Man, young gun. Thanks for chatting with this old man. Man, I'm like 20 years older than you. Crazy. I'm getting old. Like I said, I was in youth ministry for like almost 10 years with youth. And yeah, now I look at, I don't know, it's just so weird. Dude, the older you get, once you get into your 20s, you're going to see people from like who are like 15 to 18. You'll be like, man, they look like little kids. Oh, no, no, I don't care either. I don't care either. But I'm serious. When you get older, you're gonna start looking at people when it felt like you were old, and you'd be like, man, they are so young. They don't. Yeah, already happened with middle schoolers. That makes sense. Yeah, it life's crazy, and it's so weird that it just keeps on going on. Yeah, I kind of had a my junior high years were not very good. I I don't know. I was super nerdy, super introverted, really scared to talk to people. I legitimately failed English classes because I refused to give speeches. There's kind of some irony there with what I do now. But I didn't want to talk to people. I was so scared of people, and all I had was like nerds, stoner friends. It's like all I had. All my friends were that way, and just quieter, nerdier kids. And so I was kind of, I don't know, but that's who I was. I've always played video games. I've always been a nerd, and then it just kind of slowly changes. Yeah, yeah, I get that too, dude. Part of my problem with the opposite gender for me was that I didn't, I literally, I remember like in high school, I had this girl, who was in my study hall, and I guess somebody told me later she was super into me, and I had no idea because I was utterly convinced that no one could be attracted to me. Right? I was just so convinced that it was like, why would that doesn't even make sense. So I never even considered it, even though looking back, it was obvious. I do have some gay friends. Well, I did. I haven't seen them in a long time. One I used to talk to quite a bit, and but I don't know where he's at nowadays. It's not that I pushed him out or anything. It's just I just haven't seen him in a long time. Trying to think of who else. I guess I do work at a board game shop part time too, so I know a lot of people there. But you'll the opposite gender, you'll come around. It's I don't know. It's a crazy thing. Yeah, these days they are. When I was growing up, it wasn't so much. Um, but yeah, these days it's like the nerd D&D community and all that stuff. And you know, I play D&D and I do all that. But yeah, we meet a lot of there's a lot of trans people that come into our the board game shop. Dude, it's terrifying, especially pretty girls, right? It's it's scary, but you'll I don't know, you meet the right one and it kind of, I like to tell I've been married for 10 years in June, which is crazy. And when I first met my wife, I was so nervous. Our first date, I was so nervous. We went on a big walk on a big trail, and I was so so nervous that I talked literally for 3 hours straight, and she didn't say hardly anything. And the date was over, and I was like, "This was horrible. This is like I just blabbed for 3 hours because I was so nervous." And but she stuck it out, I guess. She apparently, I don't know. I like to tell people that my wife didn't start talking to me until after we got married, because she was so quiet, such a quiet person. You're saying that trans people open carry? Yeah, I mean that was it for me. For me, all my issues with girls were rooted in insecurity and like in a bad image of women. I started watching porn when I was 9, and then I had some weird like sexual encounters when I was young, and it gave me like a really hyper sexualized like look at women and those around me, and it messed me up really, and that was actually part of it. Is I had to like kind of get rid of all that stuff. It took years. It took a long time and a lot of prayer, honestly, for me. Um, and yeah, this is real struggle, and and even still, even still like if I'm like I don't know like whatever a pretty girl comes to the church, I still get nervous. It's like, dude, I'm married, I got 3 kids. Why am I nervous about this? And so, but sometimes I just get really worried about what people think of me, which is not a great thing. I'm always trying to fight that, but it's sometimes it wins, right? Yeah, I mean, dude, we're all kind of messed up. That's the thing. My wife is reading a book about it's called The Body Keeps the Score. It's about trauma, and like abuse and all sorts of things that kids go through and how it changes our body, and our body keeps all that. It keeps the score, right, of all the things that have been done to us. And with that, I don't know. It's like but you read the statistics on how many people are like abused, traumatized as kids. It's like almost everybody, right? It's crazy. And then it develops all this crazy stuff. Yeah, technology too early in life. That can be a problem, right? And some of the problem too is for my generation there was a huge gap between like I knew way more about computers than my parents did. Like I built a PC when I was like 13 with my brother. I've always really liked PCs. I like troubleshooting PCs. I've always liked that. This PC I have, well, the last PC I had I built, and I like all that stuff. But that's part of the problem is like I knew workarounds, right? I could get around stuff. I knew how to erase my history, how to cover my steps, right? Hmm. What do you mean by that last comment? I'm curious. I'm just asking. Yeah, that's kind of, that's like, for me, I look at, from my perspective, that's like baptism, right? That's you're dying to yourself and being raised anew. And, oh, yeah. And, dude, my grandparents, they kind of drive me nuts with this stuff, right? We're rebooting. Or like, I don't know if you ever worked with like somebody in their 70s that has a laptop and they bring it to you and you're like, I don't know what's wrong with it. It's like, did you click on every ad that has ever existed? And I just don't understand how you got this much adware. I don't understand. My grandpa does that. He'll bring me his electronics and I'm like, what? Honestly, sometimes they have such outdated computers that that's just their problem. Is their software is too much for their hardware. It doesn't work on people. You've tried it, given it your best shot. I mean, sometimes hitting it does work. Those rare lucky moments where the rage produces something that is good. Yeah, that's true. That's the same with my wife. Whenever she has a Pixel phone, which Pixels are notoriously bad software, It just, oh yeah. I don't know if you got a good look at it. I couldn't see. Was that a good look? Yeah. It's pixels. Yeah, it's a horseshoe scar. It goes from here all the way. Oh, I can't even. I'm trying to do this. Yeah, all the way back. So, yeah, it's a big scar. It actually was from, who's texting me right now? Oh, it actually was from when I was 5. So this would have been in 1995. I was 5 years old. I was wrestling with my brother on Christmas Day. And as we were wrestling, we rolled into, like the old big tables where you'd be able to put in like an extra piece of the table to make it bigger. It's called table leaf, is what we call it. Um, we were rolled into, and there was an old oak table leaf, a really heavy thing that was leaning up against the wall. My brother and I, who we were wrestling, we were told not to be wrestling. Um, we were wrestling, and we rolled into it, and we rolled away from it, and then the table leaf fell and hit me right here, and it popped the main artery in my head. And so, um, I remember it actually. I remember looking up at my mom from the stairs, and she's like, "What happened?" Because I was screaming and freaking out. And then we didn't think anything happened. So we went from one town to another town um, on Christmas Day from my one grandma's to my other grandma's, and I I remember throwing up and then passing out. Um, but my parents said I was scratching my head and screaming, which was a terrifying image. I can't imagine one of my kids doing that. I was scratching my head and screaming, and I blacked out, and then they called the ambulance. They came and got me, and I was fully intubated, so I was alive because of machines. But they got me to the hospital, and they said there was a blood clot the size of an orange inside my skull, pushing my brain to one side. Um, and Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And so at 5 years old, so you don't have that big of a, it's not like the same size head I have now. It's smaller, right? And so at 5 years old, I got this blood clot the size of an orange. It is insane, yeah. Blood clot the size of an orange, and then I had two other blood clots the size of quarters in my skull. And the doctors, they brought me in, and they immediately started surgery. And the doctors told my parents, hey, he's probably not going to live. People that live from something like this, it's super low. It's like over 90% of people just die from this. And they told my parents he's probably not going to make it. If he does make it, he's probably going to be in a coma the rest of his life. And if he ever comes out of the coma, he's probably going to be a vegetable. That's literally the prognosis they gave my parents. And I got the staples at home, the PJs they cut off of me, which I was so mad about. I got these PJs for Christmas, and I was super excited. And then they cut them off. I literally woke up, and I was thinking, dude, I had brain surgery. Why did you cut my pajamas off? That doesn't make any sense. Anyways, and yeah, and so anyways, there was that grim prognosis, right? And so it wasn't looking good, and it was really scary for my parents. My parents said they just started to pray. They just started praying like, Lord, Lord, if you want to take him home, you can do that. But we don't want him to go home. We want him. I had a really bad anger problem. I still, so like one of my biggest issues is my anger. Always has been my whole life. But I had a really bad anger problem, and I like broke my neighbor's door, punching holes in walls, all that stuff, right? I was just an angry kid. I don't know why. But they prayed and said, Lord, we want to hear him slam another door. We want to hear him we want him to break some more stuff. And so they were praying that. And my dad said he had a real like crisis of faith in that moment. Like, oh, man, God, why would you let this happen? But they said not too long after that, a nurse came out of the operating room, and she said, I think your son's going to be okay. And they said, why would you say that? And she said, because I saw God taking control of the hands of the doctors. Kind of a crazy thing to say, right? And so she went. So they were like, okay, well, I mean, cool if that happens. And the crazy part is, so the prognosis was I'm probably going to die. And if I don't die, I'm going to be in a coma the rest of my life. And if I ever come out of the coma, I'm going to be a vegetable. I was out of the hospital in 6 days. I woke up totally coherent. I woke up, I had no problem. I was playing friggin' Mario. I was super stoked. I was like playing Mario. I was like, this is the best. They're playing catch with me. They were testing my cognitive skills because they thought everything was going to be busted. And I woke up perfectly fine. I had 27 staples in my head. It's a crazy story. There's actually a, yeah, I mean, if it would have turned the other way, yeah, definitely. But apparently it was true. I mean that's how the Bible says you will know a prophet, right? Someone who speaks about the future or speaks about something if it comes true, right? It has to come true. That's part of the qualifier for it. If it doesn't come true, it's, it's not good for them. The Bible has some real strong words to say about people who just say that. No, they don't. No, they don't. That's is a total miracle, and I know that there's so many other. There was a kid who was next to me in the hospital. Um, I still kind of remember him. It's kind of weird. But he died when he was in the hospital, and I lived, and that's why, you know. I've had some weird dreams. Before I became the lead pastor, I had a really weird dream about my dad and I and taking over the church, and then somebody had said, "Well, it's probably him training you, right, to take over the church and do this stuff." And I was like, "Oh, maybe." And then it was like 2 weeks later, my dad called me and said, "Hey, we're going to start training you to take over the church." I said, "Oh, okay, that was definitely what that dream was about." Yeah, like it's an interesting thing, like a phenomenon. Let's just say, for example, I'll use my dream, right? My dream was that my dad and I were walking up a mountain, and it was a snowy mountain, and I was naked, and he had all of his clothes and equipment on, and we were walking up this mountain, and at the top of the mountain, there was a river going through it, and I could see this really big fish on the top of the water, and I scooped up the fish. Oh, actually, I stood there, and my dad said, "Catch that fish." I said, "Okay." So I caught the fish and threw it behind me. And so I told that to a friend of mine. I told it to a few people. Nobody really had any good thoughts, but I told it to another buddy of mine, and he said, "Well, maybe you're naked because you're unequipped, right? You don't have anything, and your dad is clothed because he's equipped, and he's going to teach you how to catch fish, and maybe he's going to start training you for something." That was like literally what he said, and and then 2 weeks later, it was like within a month. It was really close. It was like so close that I was like, "Wow, that's definitely what that dream was about." So there's times, and I feel like God was warning me. I was totally content to do youth ministry for the rest of my life. I had like made that choice. I'm going to do youth ministry. I'm going to stick to that. And and then it was not long after that I had that dream, and then a few weeks later, my dad called me and said, "We're going to start training you to take it over." And so, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Huh. I've had other things happen like that too. It doesn't happen very often for me. I've met plenty of people who think they're prophesying or doing something supernatural. I mean, I don't have lucid dreams ever. I've never had one. I've always kind of wanted one. Lucid dreams seem kind of fun, but no, I've never had a moment. And well, I had one moment where I realized I was dreaming. I was driving on the interstate. This was when my wife and I were dating. She lives about 40 minutes away from the town I live in. And it was a cold winter night. It was like midnight or 1 a.m. or something. And I was driving back, and I fell asleep in the car while I was driving. And I was in this I went into this dream, and I like stood there in the dream, and I said, "What am I doing?" And I said, "What am I doing? What am I doing?" And then I said, "What am I doing in real life? I'm driving." And I woke up and I was like, "Oh my gosh." You play Doom Eternal on a computer you never had? Doom Eternal's pretty fun. That game's wild. No, I wasn't safe. I never fell asleep again. I That could have ended very, very badly. Cruise control, the middle of winter, 1 a.m. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I don't think I ever finished it. Potato PC. Dang. Dude, I played on potatoes for a long, long time. Yeah, I think for me, actually, like podcasts and stories keep me more awake than music does. Hey, there you go. Yeah, GeForce Now is a great alternative. I guess that works pretty well. No piracy. I mean, that's true, but I don't know. You can get stuff for cheap. There's a lot of websites where you can get Steam keys for pretty cheap, if you're looking to do it that way. If your whole brain is rattling. Well, hey fellas, it's been a pleasure. I better go though. Like I said, I got to get up and preach 2 services, so I'm gonna regret it if I don't go to bed right now. 8. Yeah, I mean it's really cheap now. I don't know if you have a Game Pass either, Xbox Game Pass, but they have a cloud thing and you get a whole bunch of games with it, including Doom Eternal. Something to check out, but there's a monthly cost associated with that, so. And you can get on that Fallout train. I know it's better to own your own games, that's for sure. I'm kind of cheap, so I had gotten into like a 2-year lock on Game Pass a few years ago, and it expires in October. It'll probably be right about when they start putting really good games on it. Yeah, I mean PayPal's great. I use PayPal quite a bit to pay for my really cheap Steam keys from sketchy websites. All right, I better go. I'm gonna be on again tomorrow night, most likely. It's actually very likely. My wife's got some friends coming over, so I should be on tomorrow night again. Would love to keep chatting, but I'm gonna dip, and I'm gonna dip hard.